Hi, thanks for joining us this morning for this week's training tip on a cold, windy, rainy morning in Weatherford, Oklahoma. This week, I'm going to talk about timing. I just came back from doing a clinic in Indiana, and after I come back from a clinic, I always reflect on what some of the challenges were with some of the riders / trainers. And timing is something that we all need to be aware of, because when we're asking for a response with our horse, okay, we use pressure or discomfort to stimulate that response. But what your horse is looking for is that release point. Okay? When your horse reaches that release point, there has to be instant release to tell that horse that's what you wanted. Okay? So today I'm just going to demonstrate with a couple different exercises. First one with lateral flexion, which is kind of the cornerstone exercise of everything we do. When I ask a horse for lateral flexion, I'm waiting on two things. Number one, I want their feet to be still, and I want that horse to be off that bridle. Okay? Now the split millisecond that horse's feet stop moving and that horse finds that release point and gets off the bridle, I want to be releasing. Sometimes what I see is when someone goes to flex their horse and soften their horse, and their horse gives them that response they're asking for, then they ask for more. And that's really one of the worst things you can do, because what that does is confuses that horse. That horse has found the release point, and instead of getting the reward, you ask for more. Okay? Now, just like here, where I'm going to ask this horse to yield its hindquarters, and I'm going to turn so the hindquarters are to you. When I press with my leg, lift on that rein, and he disengages those hindquarters, the second I feel those front feet become the pivot point and he disengages that hindquarter, I need to release. Okay? That release point, the timing with that release point is so important. When you're asking your horse to step around in a circle and you've got your inside rein picked up and you put your outside leg against him and that horse steps around like that, you need to release that pressure immediately so that horse understands that they have found that release point. Okay? So work on that this week. Think about timing. I had a guy tell me one time, reward the thought. Okay? When your horse is trying to find that release point, or they're just starting to disengage those hindquarters, release. Okay? So work on your timing this week. We'll see you next week, and have a great week of training.